Hey peoples, welcome to UGC Overwatch Season 4 Week 2 Gold Division game. My name is JJSkywalker, and today I'll be joined along with my fellow caster, Vox. How's it going, man?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Excited to see this matchup. Should be a good follow-up to what we saw in Week 1. So, hopefully keep that gravy train rolling, see another good matchup this week.
Yeah, definitely. And today we have Team Recall versus Red Rockets. These guys will be doing a rematch last season, Season 3. They faced each other in Week 10, and Team Recall took them over 2-0. So this would be a rematch for, I suppose, the month for them, since they did face last month. Lots of things have happened between that time, but an entire month for them to practice or come up with new strategies. So that one moment, there is a pause column, and let's do that right now.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, between these two teams, bit of a rematch. I mean, it didn't seem like there's any bad blood, but definitely when you're coming into something like this, you want to come out to be the victorious team. Not always you want to end up being the victorious team, but especially in a rematch type.
Yeah.
So I guess while we're waiting for that sixth player to rejoin, I was checking in a little bit of these two teams. So Recall, as you mentioned, the team that won that 2-0 just a bit ago, they actually were the third place team last season for Season 3 in gold. So, pretty strong team, obviously, if they're able to make it that far into the bracket and come away with a bronze, whereas their opponent, actually second place in the lower division than Steel, and back in Season 2, they went 4-5 last season, so not a bad performance in their first season of gold. So, hoping to, after a win last week, to continue building and maybe be a placement team this season.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry. Trying to change my key bindings as I changed them. Yeah, agreed. Apologies, I don't have much more to say there, but right now, yes, there was a partial pause.
Yes, taking a look right now over on the offensive side. Pretty standard what you're going to see. It looks like they're actually going with 3 tanks. They've got the 76 and, of course, the Lucio and Ana. So they're on their way out down the beginning of the street, and we're going to see how they're going to take this first fight in. Reinhardt already put it in, throws his fire, and actually going right up top. They want to just take this fight straight to them. There's no waiting around for picks or anything like that. I like that. I like the aggressiveness. So just putting some damage out onto the point, seeing what they can get. Trying to take down that Ryan shield. Still nothing doing. Muffin gets aggressive on Shiatsuki. Those are both of the Reinhardts fighting each other. Yamagiri, though, takes out the enemy Torbjorn. So that's a good pick by him there. And a few more being traded. Jackman takes out Jez. That's the enemy Ryan. Spackle picks up one as well on 76. So still trying to cap the point right now. Putting a lot of time, but it looks pretty good for them. Only 2 players left alive. That's going to be the Ana Imp. And the 76 Spackle goes down. So pretty solid push on that first point. And I think they should have this.
Yeah, Team Recall had a very good start at the beginning, holding back so that Red Rockets didn't have a good positional advantage over them. But their Torbjorn was a little bit out of position. He easily got killed by the Roadhog, and it just slowly got picked away from there. The Team Recall didn't seem to stand behind their Reinhardt shield, so slowly, Red Rockets was just able to pick away at their team, and that's stage 1 for them. Yeah,
extremely well-coordinated push, and now they kind of come into this long push over to the second point. There's a lot of different places to hold, but fortunately for Red Rockets, they have the height advantage, so they're going to be able to fight down onto the cart if they need to. The Reinhardt Muffin just trying to see if he can keep moving that cart forward, but good job by Team Recall to keep forcing it back. It looks like there's the Graviton by Logi. Hopefully they're going to get a few out of that. So far they've gotten 2, Imp, the Ana, Jez, the Roadhog, as a few more actually go down as well. The only player left alive is Krim on Diva. So unless Krim can delay that cart, I think they should have it, but the respawn is pretty close, so they may have a chance actually to stop this if they choose.
Yeah, with the amount of work that Red Rockets did at the beginning, they have a huge ult advantage coming into this fight.
Yeah, it's looking. Yeah, they get onto the point. They stop him, but there goes the Earth Shatter by Muffin. Gets a few people down in the Shatter, but doesn't actually end up converting any of those to kills. Mystified picks up one with his Nano Visor, but still not much doing here for Red Rockets. It looks like it might be a successful defense so far by Team Recall. Muffin is kind of forced in there on Reinhardt. He is going to go down. And good job by Team Recall on the cleanup, pushing them back. And it looks like this is going to be a successful point defense, and they might just have to wait for their ults before they're going to be able to recontest.
Yeah, this was an excellent fight for them, for they only had to use one Earth Shatter to hold back, I believe, 2 ultimates it was for Red Rockets.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge for them, and Recall is going to be able to hang on to a few right now, a few of their ultimates. Looks like another meetup about to go down onto the point. Crim's gonna bring his Diva charge in there, but we're gonna go a little too far. Actually, still manages to pick up 2. Really not much going on there for Red Rocket. So it looks like they wanted to try to get something done. Logi used that Graviton, but they weren't able to convert any picks off of it. So kind of a waste there. I'd like to see maybe they're just using to switch off of Zarya, but no, it just looks like a poor use, if anything. So this is still looking really good for Recall. I mean, at the beginning here, it looked like they were just going to get rolled into second, but luckily those fast and close respawns brought them back to the card. Actually getting flanked right now by Red Rockets. They're going to be pushing forward. Muffin on Reinhardt just leading the charge, seeing if he can get any damage down, but Shikatsuki for Recall, their Reinhardt. Good job charging in. And Jez on Roadhog picks up 2 in the fray, pops open his whole hogs. Another successful defense, and they still have 4 ults to hang on to, so they're not even worried about their Roadhog popping his ult. They can just sit back and they look good. Not too many going on for Red Rockets in terms of the ult fight.
Yeah, Red Rocket seemed to have wanted to use the Graviton with maybe the TAC and TAC Nano combo, but it came a little bit too late and on the short end for them. So right now it seems they're maybe trying to get their ultimates a little bit faster so they could push this much easier, maybe knowing that Team Recall is holding on to their ultimates right now.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind, Logi actually switched off of Zarya to Diva, so maybe sensing a little pressure, wanted that defense matrix available to them. Spackle on 76 is going to use his visor up at the top, but it looks to be largely useless. The Diva ult goes in as well, but gets nothing out of it. But still, Jez and Spackle do manage to pick up a couple frags there for Team Recall and push back Red Rocket. So, I mean, not really great ult usage, but they still manage a couple of picks to force them back to their spawn and regroup.
Double sound barriers, literally unable to do enough damage with any form of attack, or it seemed even both Diva ults weren't able to do much in that last fight.
Yeah, but Muffin and Jackman, that's the Red Rockets, Reinhardt and Ana, do still have ults, so maybe we're going to see a boost off it. Gets a couple of down on his Earth Shatter, but Jackman still isn't using his ult. Actually doesn't even need to. Muffin gets a couple of frags. Yamagiri and Mystified coming in with a couple as well. It's one of those things where personally I feel better safe than sorry just to pop the boost, but doesn't end up hurting them. They clean up Crim on Diva, and they might be able to actually end up capping this point off of that.
We'll see right here. We don't want to call it too early because we never know what happens at the last second.
Yeah, it's always that last second. The caster's curse. Keeper picks one up. Mystified gets one as well. Actually gets 2. Gets both Imp, TK43, and now Spackle. So Genji, Mystified, doing a lot of work for his team right now. And they do finally clean up the last remaining members. So finally, after that amazing first push, they get stonewalled on second. They finally managed to cap it up, and now they're just waiting. It's just going to be, how are they going to be able to push this? They've got close to a minute left. It's going to be pretty difficult, but they do have 4 ults in their pocket.
Yeah, going over real quick, what Red Rockets just pulled out, they went for kind of like a double DPS jump comp where they knew all they had was Earth Shatter. So why not have a team that can just jump on every person that went down? And those shift resets, the ability from Tracer to just dish out ridiculous amount of damage instantly, it helped them a lot. So let's see if it helps them here as well.
Yeah, 4 ults. Muffin is about to come up on his ult. Actually, Yamagiri decides to pop her pulse bomb, so there's going to be none there. A few more coming out. Looks like Lucio drops the beat over on the Red Rocket side, but they're not really getting much done with it. They do take out Spackle. That's the 76 for recall. Doing a lot of, trying to get the cart forward. Actually, the recall Ryan might go down here. He should, at least. Getting onto him is Mystified and does finish off the frag. Now there's only a few left alive. TK403 drops the beat. This might be what they need to continue holding this point. Jez pops his whole hog getting onto the cart, but only manages to do a lot of damage. No frags are actually converted. They take out a few more. That's Crim, TK403, and now we're in overtime. This is the last ditch effort for both teams. They've got to see what they can do. Good pops of ults. That's going to be the boost onto Genji. Picks a couple up, despite Spackle using his visor, not enough. So it takes some overtime, but Red Rockets are able to finally catch the last point of Hollywood. And you really want that. You want to at least get to the end, even if you have to go to overtime.
No, agreed, and it was a very difficult end for both Reinhardts there. I believe it was Shikatsuki is what she said. Went for the Earth Shatter and then charged straight in, even though it wasn't able to get anybody. And since Muffin had a free line for his Earth Shatter over the entire team recall, he just put it down, and that ended up being their downfall at the end.
Yeah, so I mean, it looked like it's going to be a high-powered offense. So I mean, first and third points looked really nice by Red Rockets. I was impressed with how they pushed it, but now that second point really is going to weigh heavy on them right now. It's going to be kind of the thorn in their side, and it's going to mean everything whether they can convert this map or if they're going to hand it over to their opponents. So taking a look at the comp right now, looks like we are going to see the Farah Mercy, the pharmacy, as people love to call it, over on the recall side. So we're going to see if that may help them in their quest. They also do have a Winston, a Tracer, and a Diva. So, and of course the pocket pick Lucio. I wonder, do you think that might be enough to bring them to the objective?
Possibly, considering that Red Rockets is running that partial builder comp with like that solo Symmetra. A lot of teams have been running the pharmacy into any type of builder comp, or even anything into Hollywood. So considering that tends to be what works, yeah, possibly if they run it correctly.
Yeah, especially because you can go over those arches, or over the security room next to arches with your Farah. So it might be something to look out for. The gates do open. We're gonna see how they want to initiate. It might just be the monkey jumping over the top and Farah spamming from afar. Just trying to size each other up right in the beginning. Logi on Zarya, just trying to spam those bombs forward, see if she can get any charge off of that, any damage. But actually flanking over from the other side is Spackle on Farah, putting out some damage, seeing what might be possible. I mean, any damage, any pick is great here. Jez actually goes down. That's the Tracer for recall. And Yamagiri actually picks up another one. That's Lucio. That might be a great pick from there. Spackle trades went out before going down. And Red Rockets look to be cleaning up the remaining players. Imp was the only one left alive in that, but smartly backs out without dying. So, oh, actually, no, I totally missed that. Did actually end up going down. So that's going to be a full wipe by recall and a successful first point defense by Red Rockets.
Yeah, something to take note here is that when running a dive comp, they have to make sure that they're all going in at the same time. Losing anybody during that push or not pushing in all at the same time tends to wreak havoc for these compositions.
Yeah, and it looks like they may have heard you, so there they go, actually jumping in right away. Spackle is going to go down, however, despite Jez trading out a kill. Mystified pops his ult. Oh, wow, nice res there by Imp. That might change the course of this point cap. A lot of players now back alive for recall. They're trying to put as much damage. Spackle takes out 2. That's the Farah there. Takes out 3 now with Muffin going down. Imp is going to get traded, so there goes that healing potential of the Mercy. Yamagiri pops the whole hog, takes out 2 before going down to Spackle. Mystified takes out Crim as well. So this is really back and forth, but now it looks like Red Rockets, they've got that teleporter. They say, we don't need no res, here's our Symmetra. get a ton of players back out onto the point, and clean up the damage after the fact. Wow, nice job on that defense. Good job on the Symmetra pick.
Yeah, many things to remember for both teams. One, the defense has to remember the Mercy's on their side, but the dive needs to remember that this team has a teleporter.
Yeah, maybe kind of slipped their mind as they got so focused. They're trying to do damage. No heal going down on a few of the recall members. So that might be a chance. Spackle actually takes out 2 with that Pharah ult before going down. Jumping in over the top is the Winston before actually going down to Muffin, who charges them down inside the stair. So now dropping the B right now is TK403 before the Earth Shatter comes down by Muffin. They want to clean up on these kills now. Muffin takes out the Lucio. That's a healing potential gone before Imp actually reses to pick up TK403, but goes down yet again with a Graviton coming out by Logie. Oh, the Diva ult goes into the middle, but doesn't really get anything done. And Red Rockets are still looking good on this. They managed to take out a few more. Yamagiri, Muffin, Mystified, Keeper. The kill feed just keeps climbing as Red Rockets manage another. That's, I think, 3 or now 4 successful point defenses. And now with 30 seconds remaining to take this point, Recall may be in some serious trouble, especially with no ults.
See here what they're able to pull out at the last second.
Yeah, they're not really. I mean, things are pretty similar in terms of their comp. They've only switched out the Mercy for a Zen, hoping those Discord orbs will do the trick. Maybe didn't feel they had enough time to build the red. Yamagiri gets a hook onto Diva. That's Crim. Takes her out of her suit, but does end up going down to the Discord with the baby Diva. Imp gets one, Jez gets another as well, and they may actually do this. Muffin goes down, and it's that last second push. It's the adrenaline. Something got into them, and now they managed to cap the point in overtime. They are going to get a few more minutes now to see if they can push, but their backs are still against the wall. They really can't afford much time to delay for the rest of this.
Yeah, agreed. And as well, the positioning from Imp, the Zenyatta, up on the second story, what most people call Juice, helped a bunch. Most of the members of Team Recall, Red Rockets was up there, and they just got discorded every single time, and that amount of damage was just not enough to hold up there, and they went down fast.
Yeah, now we're gonna see. I mean, this is exactly where Red Rockets got stalled last time, so if they have any semblance of the strong defense that Team Recall did, they may actually be able to just close this out here. Jez is going with the flank. That's a Tracer behind. Maybe just trying to scout things out for the team. Just maybe they do have a pulse bomb, but don't actually want to use anything. Jumping over the top is Winston, but gets taken out very quickly. Good job there. Focusing down that single target. Jez does take out Jackman, so that's no Ana. That's some healing potential down for Red Rockets. As the cart continues to move forward, but now collapsing onto the cart is Red Rockets. Mystified, taking Diva out of her suit. Now that's a baby Diva, just trying to spam. See if we can get back into that map. Now rotating over to their right side behind the bank. They want to keep them on their toes. They don't want to keep funneling into the same way. Maybe now trying to get some high ground. That's Jez and on Tracer and Winston over the top. Backing out now, Logie going down, but Keeper takes out Jez and just trying to fight for some space. Building ults. There are 5 ults over on the Recall side, 4 over for Red Rockets, so they have a chance. The teleporter is up. Or actually, no, is that a, looks like a shield generator,
yes.
My fault.
Yeah.
Here's the ult. Krim only managed to take out 1. Looks like it could have been huge, but most escaping into the jail. Shikatsuki, I wish I could say that name, takes out 1. Was Jez and Spackle clean up as well. So no teleport to deal with, just a shield generator. So they're going to be able to continue moving this cart, but like we saw before, it's a close respawn. It's a fast respawn. Red Rockets may still be able to defend this. Popping out that nano visor. Nothing doing there. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no problem. The biggest thing is the point. I'm not sure why they tried to fight in the back, but the point just kept going. They were able to get that initial stage too.
Yeah, as you said, I mean, they popped the nano visor, but really nothing to be done behind the jail with it. If anything, you probably want to use that front and center. But still, a minute left. Ults burned on either side, a fair number. But Muffin and Logie, that's the Reinhardt and Diva, may be able to combo with some pretty good coordination. So we'll look out for that maybe to come in the last few seconds if they're trying to do that. Over on the recall side, they may be able to build some ults in time before the end of this, and that's exactly what they're going to be looking to do. Good charge in by Shikatsuki as he takes it out, but Logie actually managed to take out the enemy Ryan with that bomb, and wow, all of a sudden 5 picks come out onto the point. I'm left scratching my head. I didn't see specifically how that happened. Muffin did use his Earth Shatter, so maybe that was it.
No, it was an instant amount of damage coming out from every member in the team.
Absolutely insane. I mean, that's what they needed. Now there's 10 seconds remaining. There's really not much now that recall can do. They have potential to maybe get one more ult, but TK403 will have to drop the beat at some point. Both Lucios do manage to do that. Recall's Reinhardt does put some down. Krim gets the Diva bomb in the center. Managed to take out one, but this is going to be really scrappy. Jez on Roadhog takes out the Diva suit, and Muffin gets boosted by Ana, but really doesn't do anything with it. This may actually go in, and we might see an overtime. Jez trying to get something done on Mystified. That's a 76, still putting out some damage, still trying to block this point. It looks like Keeper is the last remaining hope. He's going to go down, and that point is gonna get capped. Wow, both of these teams really want to take it down to the wire for us and give us a great game.
Definitely running both on overtime, both on 1 minute.
So now we're gonna see, looks like I actually don't know which team is gonna start off on offense first. Do you know specifically, or?
Right now, it actually because the team, it'll be Team Red Rockets going first.
Yeah. All right. So I mean, Red Rockets had a really solid first push, and it was their second push that they got hung up on. Whereas for Recall, they had a really tough time capping first. So if those trends continue, Red Rockets might take this map, and it could put Recall in a pretty deep hole. Fortunes change, class compositions change, so anything can happen here. I'm not gonna reserve myself to following the past.
Yeah, an interesting dynamic Recall pulled out is the fact that Red Rockets wasn't using a Lucio, so because their speed wasn't fast enough, pulling out that Zenyatta at the last second worked out for them really well, and going into stage 2, the same thing happened. And then again, those team switches happened, so a lot of things change over time, but with only 1 minute for both teams to capture this point, these guys need to pull out their A game for this stage 1.
Yeah, I'm surprised Red Rockets are switching things up after there's such a successful first push, but they are going to go with the pharmacy, so maybe feeling pretty confident with how that will go down. Spamming over the top is Yamagiri. That's the Pharah for Red Rocket. Trying to see if maybe take down the Ryan shield, put some damage on the playmakers, or the Lucio, but they've already taken so much space from Recall, which is great for them. I mean, they can just keep fighting the point without too much worry. So they take the fight straight to them. They want to put damage out. Still no frags traded by either end. Yamagiri getting hurt, but that Mercy just keeping her alive. So really good stuff on that great combo. And they're putting some time on the point. Just all of Recall was in that lower room, and now they finally want to fight. It's still no picks being traded. We're in overtime officially. It's been a minute. Muffin charges in. They do take out Shikatsuki, so no Reinhardt, no Spackle, which is 76, and no Lucio for Recall. This may be enough to do it. Jez, it was the Roadhog trying to survive, and Ana, so they are going to be able to cap up on this point, which is huge. I mean, you obviously just want to at least get that first capture and ride that cart as long as humanly possible. So the hardest part is over, and now they're kind of just vying to see how difficult they can actually make it for Team Recall.
Yeah, both teams have to be careful. One for just losing the point instantly, but the other stopping a potential snowball. So, yeah, it's going to be a tense moment coming up right here with all the ultimates coming up.
Speaking of snowball, well, actually, here is an ult that looks like the boost on the Reinhardt, but Muffin drops that Earth Shatter and completely nullifies what happens there. Shikatsuki tries to get something done. Oh my god, but they couldn't touch the cart. Keeper gets the res. It looked so good for Red Rockets. They stopped that Ana ult. Their res was there, but unfortunately no one touching the cart fast enough. And I mean, they get the first point, but not too much distance on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, Muffin did a very dangerous thing, and that was like immediately charge. I always get that name wrong, Shikatsuki, with his Rhine charge, and immediately his Ana backed him up with a nade, and that knocked out the potential healing for, I believe it was Red Rockets on? No, it was Team Recall on this defense. So Team Recall wasn't able to do any healing and went down for that stage 1. Good re-attack on that stage 2, just being able to separate the team and not allow them to touch the point. And now they just got to take their stage 1 and push it on ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a game saver for them because it really looked good for Red Rockets. The one thing I want to point out, though, is Recall. Oh, okay. I saw a Widowmaker come in out of Crim, and it confused me because Crim has been playing Diva, so I didn't know if maybe that was going to be some sneaky pick, some secret weapon we weren't aware of. But switching back over to Diva, they are going to stick with the Zenyatta because their one successful push on that first point came from Imp being on Zenyatta, so electing not to use the Pharah Mercy combo. They are also going to have Spackle on Genji, Jez on Tracer, so looks like a pretty hefty dive comp, and they want to take this fight right in. Shikatsuki jumping over the top with Winston. Crim getting hooked in. That's a Diva, but still managed to stay alive. That mech goes down. But Crim also gets traded out. Yamagiri take out Shikatsuki. TK403 goes down to actually Keeper, the Mercy of all things. And besides Jez, that's going to be 5 people down. Jez all the way in the back. So effectively a wipe. And actually 6 players going down. But good first wave defense there by Red Rockets.
Yeah, and good first attack as well. This allows them to do a second attack as fast as possible, but it's going to have to be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, if you lose this at this map is over. They've only got 5 seconds before overtime starts. They're taking the fight in right now. Shikatsuki goes down. That's their Winston. That harassment potential is gone. Now TK403. The Lucio is gone as well. Imp and Jez get taken out. This is looking fantastic for Red Rockets as they take out Crim as well. And the last surviving player, that's Spackle. Maybe Shikatsuki can touch the point. Good block. And that is going to be the round. So Red Rocket going to take that first map, Hollywood.
Yeah, well, I will say was the biggest difference from Team Recall's initial attack is that Zenyatta was helping them a lot, but it was because of the positioning, that second story positioning and that overview of this point that he had before. And because Zenyatta was so, I suppose, seeable from Red Rockets on this point, and he was holding that bottom ground, he kept getting dealt with the Reinhardt, with the Roadhog, so it didn't have as much effectiveness as it did last time.
Yeah, and looks like play of the game going to be that res by Imp. Pretty solid res there. If I remember correctly, that actually saved them a point for a little bit longer. But yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, with the Zenyatta, it's something to remember for any viewers or people that play. It's not just about the heroes you pick, and it's not just about our 76 has godlike aim. It's also about positioning and coordination. So, they can do everything the same way. But unless they have that coordination and they can get their players in a good position, it doesn't always translate to success. I did think I saw our teams talking about potentially fixing some issues they were having with their Discord. So we may have a second here before the next map comes up.
As well as a quick bar base, but we will be going into Route 66 for the next map.
Yeah, Route 66 is going to play a little differently than Hollywood. I mean, I wouldn't say that after. I mean, we saw obviously a very, very close matchup, going down to overtime for each team rather. And you know, Red Rockets, although they capped the first point in overtime, didn't really get very far with it. So anything can go here for Route 66. And I mean, as literally as we just got done saying, it a lot of things besides the fact like, oh, okay, you know, that team did pretty well on this map. Things can change, strategies, positioning, your hero choice. So definitely nowhere near set in stone for Red Rockets to take it off of this one. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, both teams electing for very different types of not only compositions but strategies. Initially, it seems that they're very not dependent, but they're using the Ana and Mercy combos a lot, and that's keeping their sustain at the highest level with that Mercy res and just the general healing ability of Ana. But right now, Team Recall seems to be going for that more scrappy fighting, being able to dish out a bunch of frag damage off to the side, and essentially, in that case, shield war, being able to take down the enemy shield and then eventually kill the enemy team from there. Whereas it seems Red Rocket is going for the ability-based fights, like making sure that their abilities are getting the most. Their Ananate is doing anti, their Reinhardt charge is able to hit the enemy Reinhardt, so he gets a huge chunk of his HP out. It's interesting to see these types of, I suppose, strategies go against each other.
Yeah, and it's a good point. I mean, it doesn't look like any one is really more effective overall than the other because, as mentioned, that overtime that we had for both teams. And you know, maybe, I mean, this could be something for both teams to take away, like the fact that Red Rockets were able to successfully push that first point pretty easily. Maybe Recall needs to think about modifying their strategy for Hollywood to adapt to something more like what Red Rockets were doing, whereas where we saw, you know, RR struggle on that second point, and Recall kind of not breeze through it, but really had a much easier time. Maybe they need to modify their hero choice, but you know, theory crafting is just that, and it's obviously up to, you know, each player's comfortability on, you know, on each hero and things like that. So we'll you know, back to the drawing board and see what they can change, you know.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, coming into Route 66 though, it's going to be hard getting that positional advantage on the attack. So I feel like maybe the shield war could definitely go well for them. So I feel like Team Recall, running what they have so far, might have a good attack, but who knows?
And let's see if we can get an update from the teams here, so we can let you guys know how long we're thinking this intermission might be.
Just asking for a quick ready to make sure.
Yeah, thanks for your patience here, guys. So, Krim, it looks like we might be almost ready to go here, guys. We'll bring into the next map, Route 66. So, I mean, I don't like to make predictions because I'm always incorrect and I hate being made a fool. But maybe for the fun of it. I mean, I really enjoyed watching how Red Rockets played, despite Recall being the third place team last season and winning that winning their head-to-head matchup as well. But I really like the way Red Rockets played, and it'll be interesting to see if they can keep that momentum up here as well, and take a look at what the hero choice for each team. Looks like over on the Red Rocket side, kind of keeping it pretty simple. They've got the triple tank set up. I think pretty close to what we saw them running before. They've got the Lucio keeper on Lucio, Jackman on Ana, and Logi trying to choose between Zarya and Diva, so trying to figure out what's best for the team. And Red Rockets is going to start off on defense first. But otherwise, 76, Roadhog, Reinhardt, pretty standard. comp out of them. Whereas over on the recall side, looks like Spackle has switched between a few different heroes, so I don't know if I'm going to trust that he's going to be on Mei until those doors open. But Krim, we saw playing Diva, Shikatsuki switching between Ryan and Winston, currently on Winston, and they are going to be running Imp on Mercy, which seemed pretty common until they switched to Zenyatta partway through. Anything crazy you're seeing out of the choice? Looks like Spackle did switch over to Pharah.
Other than that, Widowmaker, but I feel like that's definitely going to be a switch considering they are running the dive comp, but who knows? Dive comp does open up, but no, it's switching back to a Mercy, so that's going to be a Pharmacy dive comp, and no, nothing crazy at all. Most teams do opt for this so that they're able to knock out that middle ground, that positional advantage that defense has on a gasoline station. Most teams do go for a dive comp, so it'd be interesting to see how they pull this off.
Yeah, just kind of bringing that cart around the first bend, and when it gets a little bit too far, that's probably when Red Rockets are going to test and say, okay, you've taken enough space. We're not going to give you another inch. So just kind of letting that cart move forward, and now the fight goes over for the gas station. Good job by Shikatsuki to kind of choke them back, and it's allowing his team to keep that cart moving forward just by harassing Red Rockets team. But a lot of picks actually going in their favor. Logie takes out one, Muffin another, and they are going to clean up on a few more. Spackle and Krim going down. So a strong first defense, and now they're just going to sit and wait for the cart to move back. And it looks like they've lost one of their players over on the recall side. Pretty unfortunate for them to lose partway through, but we got that pause in effect. So hopefully won't be too much trouble for him to get back in.
Yeah, at first I was gonna say it was a little awkward going into the initial dive. Farah did not go in; she was just standing in the tunnel. But then that was a disconnect, so that makes complete sense.
And I really like the way, like I said, Red Rockets have been playing a pretty strategically sound game so far, at least defensively. So we saw it on Hollywood. We're seeing it here now. I mean, the cart moves forward, despite the fact that Shikatsuki jumps in their face with that Winston focus fire. The Ana no heal comes down, that bomb to kind of help her team. Just focus fire, take down Winston, and then after that, they're able to collapse onto the cart, get a few picks, and now they're looking good. Of course, you always benefit from a 5v6, we'll say, but I don't know if Farah would have made huge difference there, but you never know. Looks like both teams are ready, and we are unpaused, guys. So the clock is going to continue ticking down, waiting for their players to get group backed up. It looks like, and looks like they're probably going to be taking. Looks like Jez is maybe looking for a flank on Tracer, going underneath the gas station right now. Jumping over the top though, Shikatsuki. Everyone was looking for the Tracer. Didn't see Winston jump in. This might lend some space for the cart, but again, great focus fire, taking out Winston. Not really able to do anything. Not able to get any. Really do much damage even onto the support, and now being chased back. Logie, Yamagiri in the forefront on Roadhog. It's gonna hook in TK403, take him out with that headshot. So good pick by him there. And now just again waiting for their 6. That's kind of what you got to do. Spackle kills himself. Did he disconnect again?
Oh.
Uh-oh. This is getting really unfortunate here. It's I mean, that's really tough. Your DPS hero, especially something as crucial as a Pharah here. I mean, you're running Mercy specifically to pocket your Pharah, and just what can you do? It's internet connections. It's definitely really unfortunate. So we'll see if they keep bringing Spackle back in, or maybe try to bring in a ringer if the other team is so willing. But for recall, it's got to be it's got to hurt. They now failed 2 pushes because they haven't had their main damage dealer in the fight. So this could really cause some issues. And because they're down a map, if if things go wrong here, it could be the game for them.
Agreed, and it's really hitting them hard considering that they're not able with the dive comp. There needs to be a synonymous attack with all members of the team, and with a whole DPS being out of it, it's hurting them a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the one good thing is that they did win their first week's matchup. So, losing this, I hate to say that, like it's some kind of like it's some kind of inevitability. Like, oh, their Pharah disconnected. I guess it's time to chalk up a loss. But both of these teams are 1-0 going into this. So they had close matchups. Both of them went into a third map last week, and I mean, we're seeing another great matchup here, and I definitely think that Recall, when they have all 6 of their players, have the stuff to then bring us to a third map so we can keep seeing this game go on. Well, we're going to have to see if they can get that coordination plus some internet. I don't know if anyone in chat has some internet, please send it over to Spackle. He could use all the bandwidth he can get to help his team out. But really, for Red Rockets, they're just in cruise control right now. I don't think they're breaking a sweat. I've got to imagine their Mumble or Discord comms have to be pretty calm. Like, hey, the monkey's jumping in. Let's focus him down. Oh, he's dead. Okay, great. Now we have this 5-on-6 advantage, or 6-on-5, I should say. And let's just take out the rest of them. And they wipe their hands, and then they get healed up, and they get ready for the next one. So 2 minutes remaining on the clock as well. I mean, there's plenty of time to get something done. All it can really do is maybe hurt you in the long run when you're trying to get over to these next points. Because I mean, it's similar to Hollywood in terms of distance that you need to travel. The first point isn't too long, although of course the big difference is that you have a payload in the beginning rather than just a point cap. But that second point is actually a pretty far distance, especially with all those rooftops and everything. That you come into that enclosed building on last, but 2 minutes is definitely enough time to push this first point.
Yeah, they were with the disconnects. As you said, Red Rockets has a very, I suppose, what were the words used? Easygoing. Their ultimate gain is much larger here, and with their soldier right about to get it right here, they're going to have a lot of things to be able to defend this initial point. So it's going to be difficult if Sparkle's able to come in here, but I believe there's only 3 minutes left on the clock for this pause to be here. So
yeah,
once that time passes, it's going to have to go.
Yeah, pretty soon. I mean, it'd definitely be unfortunate for a recall, but looks like they might have someone else they might be able to bring in, assuming Red Rockets is okay with it. But yeah, I mean, as you mentioned with the ults, I mean, Muffin has Earth Shatter, Logie has that Self-Destruct. Mystified is at 100%, just hasn't updated on the UI just yet for Visor, and 80% for Jackman on his Nano, and Keeper can drop the beat 30% away. I mean, that's some healing, maybe a couple of spam little bubbles around, but they could very quickly turn 3 ults into 6 if they can win this next fight. All right, so only a little bit longer for this pause. Thanks so much for your patience here, guys. I mean, I'm sure if you're watching, you understand what it's like sometimes when one of your players can't get connected, and you definitely want to try to make it as fair as possible for each team. But in a few minutes here, we are going to be going live, whether it's 5 or 6. So take a look actually over on the recall side. I mean, Shikatsuki has his primal rage, so might be able to do something, but I feel like it would be pretty much nullified by one of the ults over on the Red Rocket side. They have so many to use. They're kind of flush. Imp not really close to res right now, only about 60%. And Jez has a oh, looks like Spackle. All right, looks like Spackle is back in and just in time. So just probably loading in. There he is on 76 now instead of. So they switch Imp off of Mercy and they bring Spackle onto 76. Kind of recognizing that something wasn't working here, and now they want to switch it up, and that's great to see them kind of employing that. So Spackle just kind of getting ready to peek over the side. Imp pushes forward a few orbs, maybe try to discord a few targets as well. Shikatsuki gets in. Or maybe if he gets low, he might pop that primal rage, but Jez is already down, dropping the beat was keeper. So trying to keep as many teammates alive as possible, and it does great because they managed to keep all of them alive, all while taking down 3 of the recall members. So good point defense, and they still have 4 ults to work with. They're looking really good right now.
Yeah, agreed. But Red Rockets did use their Diva ult, and it wasn't really effective. So that is one less ult they weren't able to use for the next fight.
Yeah, I mean, Imp is charging up that his ult pretty quickly. I mean, it's at 75% already. Spackle at 60. They don't have an Ana, so you can't really nano visor. Yamagiri goes down to Spackle. That's a good pick to start it off with. They're gonna push in that Diva ult. Crim, oh, it gets knocked underneath the gas station, so nothing doing there. Imp using that tranquility, but just trying to keep his teammates alive. Jez takes out Jackman. This could be what they need. Spackle does get his ult. That's the 76, and I'm sure if he feels necessary, he's going to use it. But putting up plenty of damage himself. Shikatsuki manages a couple as well. That's the Winston, and now with overtime in effect, it looks like Red Rockets might just be backing up here. Yamagiri takes out Jez, who doesn't really get anything with the pulse bomb, but actually with the man advantage, they're going to recontest right now. Yamagiri Roadhog pushing in, gets discorded, uses his whole hog. A Muffin is going to earth shatter onto the ground. Doesn't really get too many in it, but the damage is being done. Muffin takes out TK403, so that's no Lucio for the recall side. And now Shikatsuki is down. This is overtime, so if they can't manage to push the cart any further here, that's all it's gonna do, and they take out 5 and really 6 with TK43 being the respawn, and that is disappointing for a recall.
Yeah, Red Rockets doing an awesome 2-pronged attack with their Roadhog and their Soldier pushing in on the right side, and their tanks being able to hold the point on the left side. They dished out just enough amount of damage to be able to just wreck and dismantle Team Recall right at the end right there, and they were just not able to complete stage 1.
Yeah, I really like that call to go back in. It looked like they might have been thinking about, okay, maybe let's give this up. But I mean, this game is all about distance, so it's smart for them to just get in. You don't want to even give them that 1 point. Make this as easy as possible for yourselves. So it's kind of high risk, high reward, because if you go down there, you might risk them getting it halfway through the second point, so. But it really works out in their favor. Now, if you're Red Rockets, I mean, are you worried at all? I don't think so. I think you still got to be feeling pretty good about this.
Yeah, agreed. And by the way, we are getting word that there is ping issues happening, like not only with the teams but also our cameramen. So apologies for that if you guys are getting that over the stream.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, this has been an excellent matchup to watch. So. I hope you guys have stuck with us through some of the player issues, and if we're having some technical issues as well. But we are getting ready for our potentially the last defense here. I mean, they've only got to push it about 75 meters, so not too long. And we see an Orisa pick over for Recall. And actually they've got Bastion as well. This is like this is full cheese strats. They're gonna be solo healing, it looks like, with
Agreed, but in certain ways this composition is used many times with that double shield and just that power. Not sure where they're putting that power though with the Bastion. It's right there, and yeah, never mind. It's that gas station hold, and they're just able to hold that amount of power with double shields pushing against that point, but they're gonna need to stop that point coming around. That's something they want to keep doing.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I feel can work out depending on the point, but it's just nothing. I mean, the Bastion can't do anything from where he was. They just literally just stood underneath his fire and were able to just get the cart at least this far. I mean, Jez on Roadhog manages to pick up one as well as Shikatsuki. Krim takes D.Va out of her mech, and they're just trying to clean up on some frags. Imp and Jez combined for a couple. So they do successfully defend this point, but the cart is very close, so they're gonna have to defend it, you know, pretty close to the vest from now on. They can't really allow it to get much further than that. But I mean, you see what I'm saying with, like, the Bastion is there, but it wasn't doing any damage to the people on the cart, so they were just, I mean, they'll take that.
Yeah, right now
so
they're switching for like a partial dive with that pharmacy, and that Mercy Res is going to help them a lot against this power comp that they're going for this defense.
Yeah, they still got the double shield, and D.Va helping out where she can. Putting some damage out onto TK43. Jez is very low as well. That's the Roadhog for Recall. A lot of damage going down. Yamagiri takes out one. Muffin takes out two. Mystified gets Jez. I think that might be it. There are 4 players down. Bastion uses his ult, but really not getting anything done. Only manages to take out Jackman. Mystified gets a few picks as well. And it looks like that cart is going to roll in, and we've got Red Rockets calling GG right now, and that is a good game from them. I mean, unfortunate here that we saw ping issues and internet issues with Spackle, but I mean, that's just 5 or 6 players looked like utter dominance on this map by Red Rockets.
Yeah, and agreed. And Muffin going in again with that high risk far end play, charging straight in, getting a triple shatter on the Anna, on the Reinhardt, I believe, on the Orisa, and this might be it right here because it was a beautiful charge. Inevitably, yes, this is what won them the game.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. I mean, you couldn't have scripted it any better. Gets the charge in, drops the hammer, his team collapses, and that is going to be our play of the game, and with very good reason as well. It ended up clinching them the game. So Red Rockets take the first map in overtime, take the second map without breaking much of a sweat.
Yeah, and agreed. And to end it off, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for putting up with this, the stream fault, some on my fault, some on ping issues in general. Vox, thank you so much for joining me here.
Yeah, glad we got another good game to watch, and excited for the rest of these weeks in UGC. It looks like it's going to be pretty hype going forward too.
Yeah, and that being said, guys, if you are excited for the rest of the match, this is week 2, and there will be another match coming up at 9:30. We won't be casting it, though. Moo and Caster will be casting that. It will be Team Bebop versus Soft. Is that Disruptors? I can't read it from here, but I imagine it's going to be a great fight and a great cast. So please stay tuned at 9:30 Eastern for that. That being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.